She'd never forgotten that moment, that jarring ping of doom on her phone. Your payment couldn't be processed, blinking on the screen in cold red letters, just when she was seconds from clicking order, on what she thought was the last limited edition pair of vintage leather boots from that tiny boutique chain her best friend had raved about. It was mid-afternoon in New York, the clamor of arriving train passengers behind her, the aroma of roasted espresso beans floating in the air like too perfect foreshadowing. Her heart dropped, that same sinking pitch she always got when a store clerk fumbled her card, even though she'd paid the bill every single month without a hiccup. She glanced at her bank app. Balance was fine, no holds, no travel flags, just her everyday life in green numbers. So why had it declined at the last click? She tapped try again out of habit, then use alternate card out of frustration, and still the same message bloomed. Declined. Again. A drip of dread creeping across her chest. She looked around the cafe, people scrolling, chatting, unaware of her panic. She switched to her other card, her golden go-to Visa, but this store's checkout page, sleek and too smooth, flickered and spat out the familiar refusal, making her stomach twist. She thought maybe it's a glitch. Maybe there's a hold or the site hates me. She pulled out her phone to call the bank, only to pause at a realization. The boutique chain's final release had just gone live. There were only 10 pairs across the entire East Coast, and this location, this checkout page, was capturing them. She tapped again, twice, a third time, heart thrumming. And still declined. She exhaled, frustration tearing at her. Logical whispers told her to just go to the offline store and buy the boots physically, but memory whispered something else. A thrill, a dare, and before she knew it, she was flinging herself into the digital roar of the site, hitting checkout with all her saved credit cards. Visa, MasterCard, Amex. One by one denied. A bead of sweat formed above her brow, a migraine flickering. Then she noticed the checkout page shifting, morphing, now offering her the entire inventory of that boutique chain for one last special price. A cart limited time offer, blinking. It was psychotic by the whole chain. It made no sense. Yet the site had her trapped. One click to snag the entire inventory, get a store to resell, become the legend. The bells chimed. Someday she'd haunt herself for this moment, for the greed, for the adrenaline, but all she felt now was magnetized. Blink. She clicked buy all 14 stores. The screen changed to payment declined. Only it wasn't her card this time. It was hers? The site scrolled, processing $7.2 million payment. She froze. When had the price changed from $1,200 for boots to $7 million for the chain? She scanned back. Chain-wide inventory, assets, real estate valuation, all mashed into one carnival mirror checkout. Fake. Real. Her hands shook. She tapped outside the cafe window, her reflection wobbling. Cameras filmed her. The barista peeked. She felt heat on her cheeks. Her phone buzzed. Fraud alert. $7,200,000 attempted purchase. She snapped. That's not my life. That straw injection drug your brain stuff. She called the bank, fingers trembling. A voice answered, "We're reviewing your account." Panic nod. She'd clicked. She'd committed. Sweat pooled on her palms. What if this was a scam harvesting data or a bank-owned glitch? She looked back at the screen. Congratulations. You're now the owner? But the website hadn't logged her out. Instead it spat out a confirmation page, corporate legal terms, press release template. She scrolled through legal jargon about transfer of ownership upon clearance of funds, and non-revocable supply chain asset acquisition. She looked at a button, download purchase agreement. She tapped it. PDF loaded. She skimmed quickly, she owned them. She owned 14 stores across 4 states, Mid-Atlantic, Midwest, Midwest South. She saw her name, buyer, her name. She gagged on her own breath. This felt like a fever dream. A mad glitch? An AI gone wild? She tried to click cancel order, but there was no cancel, only submit purchase agreement. She stared. Outside wind gusted. Leaves twirled. The barista cleared his throat. You okay? She could feel the words $7 million purchase, perched inside her chest like a red-hot coal. Her mind rewound everything. The declined messages, the escalating prompts, the increasing pressure. It wasn't like typical online fraud, it was a dumpster fire absurdity. She wanted to laugh. She wanted to scream. She wanted to cry. But mostly she wanted someone else in the room, Someone smart, someone sane, someone who wouldn't treat this like a sick joke. She considered it. If she truly owned that chain, how absurdly low was that legal risk for her? She'd laugh in the bank of mom face when they yelled. She gulped. She tapped, "Submit purchase agreement." The site responded, "Agreement received. Funds pending." Then the window cleared. And the site logged out completely, no further trace. She stared at the blank login page. A moment passed. Then her bank app pinged again, another fraud alert. More charges, a few $1,000s minor, but actual. She rebooted the laptop, checked email, no confirmation, no press release. But minutes later a USPS tracking notice blinked. Inventory labels. A truck en route from Pennsylvania to Virginia. Something had moved. Her screen glowed, shipment initiated for buyer. She stared at it like a ghost. She opened Google Maps, pins popping up, Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey. Stores she'd never visited. She didn't want to breathe. This was beyond weird. The bank said the transaction was still pending. She contacted the boutique chain corporate number, generic. She asked if they'd had any purchases. The agent paused. "I'm not seeing any." "Wait." She connected to a manager. Said the same. "No, we didn't authorize that. Our system shows no sale, but we'll escalate." She nodded, voice gone. In the cafe, chairs scraped. She stepped outside, summer air sticky, billboard sizzling. Her phone buzzed again. A news alert, digital glitch or takeover? Boutique chain appears to have mysteriously sold to random online buyers. Her eyes widened. She clicked, link went nowhere. But the headline was there. So was the idea. She wasn't alone. Someone else had tried the same. She scanned the URL, a blogger's page, but nothing loaded. What if she wasn't the only victim? What if this was bigger, like someone testing a takeover using users as pawns? She thought of other chain buyers. She typed the boutique name into X. Tweets loaded. Did they see what happened? My card declined, then I got a confirmation too. What the hell? Comments lit her phone. Collective confusion. She looked at her bank. No, they'd reversed the original card holds, labeling them as merchant error. But the funds? Frozen. She couldn't touch them, but she was registered as buyer? She swallowed. Then the phone rang. It was an unknown number. She stared. It clicked, she answered. A voice, calm yet surreal. "Congratulations on your purchase. Welcome aboard." Her blood froze. She whispered, "Who is this?" Silence. Then, "We'll talk soon." Click. The line cut. The screen remained blank. She stood there on the sidewalk, mouth open, wind tugging at her hair. She checked again, no website, frozen. Her life had fractured. She was now apparently the owner of 14 stores. And the bank was investigating. She felt dizzy with absurdity, panic, excitement, fear. She wondered, if she did own them, was this the bargain of the century? But if it was a scam, or worse, what had she unleashed? Her phone buzzed again. Package shipped notification, IP address trace, boarding manifest. She had no idea what to do next. She thought of her mom and how she'd never approve. She thought of her savings. She thought of her job. She thought of everything. And yet, as she stood there, heart racing, she knew she wasn't done. She would fight. She would figure it out. But before she did, something else stirred in her inbox. A message, subject line, ownership confirmation attached. She hesitated. She tapped it. The attachment opened, a single image. It was her signature on a dusty mountain of legalese. Under it, "Welcome, Ms." Her name? "See you at headquarters." Her eyes blurred. She pressed her hand to her mouth. In that moment, the world seemed to tilt, and all she could think was, am I about to become someone else's mark, or their greatest mistake? And on that note, just as she realized someone had already arranged a meeting with the new chain's executives, and she had absolutely no intention of going, her phone lit with a new alert. Your reservation is confirmed for executive onboarding. Location, undisclosed. She stared into the blinking screen as her blood pounded. She had no choice. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories that uplift Black voices and expose hidden truths. She sat at her rickety apartment table, the fluorescent lamp above buzzing its nervous hum, staring at her blank laptop screen as if it held the secrets to her sanity. Her heart hammered, equal parts exhilaration and terror, As she scrolled through the cryptic ownership confirmation attached email again, its cursor blinking at her like an accusation. It was real. The purchase hadn't been a flash or a hallucination. She tried logging back into the boutique site. Nothing, 404 error. She tried the link labeled Executive Onboarding. Dead. Her phone buzzed. A text, check your voicemail. Welcome. She quivered, pressed play. A calm, modulated voice said, we've arranged your private transport. 9 a.m. tomorrow. Coordinates coming soon. Then silence. Her jaw slack. She stared. Was this some twisted joke? She paced, replayed every detail from part 1. The declined cards, the buy all 14 stores offer, the sudden ownership, the truck shipments flagged on tracking, and that unplaceable corporate voice. It all spun into one surreal, cognitive trap. She attempted to call corporate again, hold music, then disconnect. She tried the bank. Their fraud team was escalating, repeating rehearsed lines. Outside, sirens wailed. She thought of filing an official claim under card declined scam, but this wasn't standard. This was bigger, calculated. Then the text arrived, coordinate file attached. Do not respond. Her screen popped open a PDF, a grainy airport diagram, her name scribbled in courier font beneath. A red oval around gate 12B. Below, stand by. Her blood roared. It felt too orchestrated, like she was being recruited, or lured. She glanced at her reflection against the window, pale, haunted, trembling. Months of moderate living reduced to this. A bizarre corporate invitation with zero consent. She wanted to reject it, but curiosity wounded her. The phone buzzed again, a push notification from a new app called Corporate Suite. Download to proceed. She crashed her cursor onto download. The app installed instantly, splash screen showing the chain's logo. She tapped and a video feed appeared. A shadowed figure in a sleek executive office, silhouette framed by city lights. Only the face was hidden. A voice distorted, Miss, her name. The question now isn't if you own these stores but what will you do with them? Tomorrow at precisely 9 a.m. we begin. Prepare. The screen glitched then went dark. She jerked upright, heart pounding. Her phone buzzed one final time as an email preview popped in her peripheral. Final notice, assets transfer in process. She froze. The words transfer and process felt like a countdown. She looked at the clock, 11:57 p.m. 3 minutes to midnight. 3 minutes until everything she thought she knew could change. And then, a knock on her apartment door. She stilled, breath caught as the knock came again, firm, deliberate. The door handle rattled. She stared at the locked door. She had no idea who was on the other side or whether to run, hide, or answer. And in those last seconds before she dared to move, she realized, this was not just her story anymore. Midnight's chill had crept into her bones when she finally dared to approach the door, cookies of fear and adrenaline crumbling beneath her fingertips as she released the lock. She cracked open the door a sliver, peering out into the dim hallway. A sleek black envelope lay at her feet, heavy, ominous. She scooped it up, hands shaking, slipping back inside and slamming the door behind her. Inside, the envelope contained a single card, thick cardstock, embossed in matte black with glossy letters, reading simply, Executive Suite, Boarding Pass Volume 1. Beneath, a date, tomorrow, dawn, and a cryptic coordinate set that matched none of her known locations. Latitude 38.8977, longitude -77.0365. She recognized those numbers, they were familiar, spread from an earlier email, but now they led to somewhere significant. Her mind raced. Was this the White House? The coordinates pointed there. She sat stunned. Then her phone buzzed again, another notification from the Corporate Suite app. Accept your pass? Yes/no. She stared, mouth dry. She tapped yes, and the app responded with chilling automatic precision. Pass accepted. See you at dawn. The app refreshed with a new screen, a live countdown ticking toward 6 a.m., labeled, Phase 1 Activation. She stared at it numb. Then the power flickered, her laptop died, her phone dimmed, the hum of electricity vanished. The silence felt deeper than night itself. Her breath came shallow. She heard movement outside, footsteps padding across the hallway heading toward her door. She held her breath, listening to the slow, deliberate approach. Her pulse pounded in her ears. She gripped the executive card in her hand, printed coordinates blurring through tears. Everything had become real. She had agreed to something she didn't understand. As the footsteps paused just outside, and the knob began to turn, she realized she had only one choice: fate or fraud, and either way she was already in motion. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories that uplift Black voices and expose hidden truths. She flinched as the door swung open, only to reveal an envelope slider, no one visible but the envelope slid inside. She snatched it, heart hammering, and slammed the door shut behind her. Her fingers trembled as she slit open the envelope, and inside lay a plain USB drive embossed with the same glossy black logo she'd seen on the Executive Suite app. There was no note, just that drive. Her instincts screamed that plugging it in was madness, but she couldn't resist. She connected it to her laptop. Her screen flickered, then displayed a countdown: 48 hours until Phase 1, Asset Mobilization. A folder jumped open labeled, Welcome CO, Resources and Directives. Inside were maps, floor plans of all 14 stores, employee rosters, and 3 videos titled simply Lesson 1, Lesson 2, and Briefing. She clicked Briefing. A polished video began. A suited executive sat behind a high-backed chair in a sleek boardroom. The camera lingered on documents stamped CONFIDENTIAL, then focused on him. You are now the legal owner of these assets, he said, voice cold and measured. Your first directive: travel to Gate 12B at dawn. You will receive initial capital and a plane ticket. Be warned, failure to enact the asset mobilization protocol within 72 hours will result in automatic asset retrieval. We trust you'll choose wisely. The video ended. Her chest pinched. She had no idea whether the assets were hers to command, or just collateral she couldn't control. Her phone pinged. A live update in the Corporate Suite app. Asset mobilization protocol activated in 60 hours. She looked out the window, first light of dawn creeping through. She felt the weight of stakes she had never signed up for: human, legal, existential. If she went, she'd step fully into their game. If she didn't know the consequences. But then another alert popped up: unknown call incoming. Screen displayed only a red flashing icon with asset control. No number, no name. She stared at it, breath caught as her thumb hovered over answer. The door swung open with the softest click and she flinched, but no one was there. Instead, the dim hallway was empty and silent, as if the building itself were holding its breath. In her hand, her phone glowed with the incoming call notification labeled Asset Control, the red icon pulsing. She tapped answer with trembling fingers. A soft hum, a heartbeat of connection, and then a voice impossibly calm and unsettlingly familiar. Good morning, Ms. Her name. Phase 1 is complete. Phase 2 begins now. The room shifted. Her walls felt like they were closing in. Then another alert: your first capital transfer has been initiated. Check your bank soon. Her chest tightened. She scurried to her computer, heart pounding, and logged into her account. The balance blinked and there it was: $7 million credited, labeled Initial Asset Capital. She hesitated for a heartbeat, then realized. With this money the stores could be rebranded, employees kept on payroll, leases renewed. She could salvage this if she played it right. But even as logic whispered solution, nightmare edged in. The app buzzed again. A new message: complete your onboarding profile or assets reclaim initiated. And below, a link: start Phase 2. She stared at it, frozen, as her bank app buzzed in her pocket. A notification of another large, mysterious withdrawal, shrouded in the same cryptic asset label. She swallowed, realizing the line between owner and pawn had never been more blurred, and when she glanced back up, the phone lay open at her side, the call still connected, but the voice now silent, patient. And in that suffocating silence, as her breath stopped and her fingertips hovered over Start Phase 2, she understood that no matter what she chose to do next, everything, even her identity, was already at stake. Beware of too good to be true offers, especially online. A card decline notice isn't always a glitch, and repeated errors could be a trap. Scammers exploit urgency and confusion to gain control, but the true cost isn't only financial. It can entangle your sense of self, your autonomy, and your peace of mind. Always pause, verify, and trust caution over convenience. The end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories that uplift Black voices and expose hidden truths.